Hey folks, we are in chapter 17. It's week 7. This is one of those little shorter lessons on our skills. So this skill that I want to talk about is conflict management, managing conflict effectively, and in particular, the conflict resolution strategies. And I'm looking at my book. It's on page 701. So let me just kind of talk you through it, and then you can go back and read and make sense of it. I think it's very intuitive and you'll probably like it. This has been one of those that has just kind of always made sense, and one I'm able to kind of identify and draw on in my normal life as well. So this one, as mentioned in the book, this is Thomas and Kilman. Just one of those classics. You see it in a lot of textbooks. Conflict. So I asked you in the reflection for the week, is conflict good or is it bad? Well, conflict can be good. It's going to be natural. And so if you manage it properly, it can be good. The right type, the problem-based, the cognitive conflict versus more person-based or emotional or affective. That's where it tends to be disruptive and destructive. So play with that. Also, devil's advocates, having a person in your group that's always questioning the group, breaking that cycle of group think, that the group just wants to think without any kind of questioning or being seen as a person who's kind of out of line and not playing along with the group. Devil's advocates are one who are challenged the group to think about it. That's that cognitive conflict. So read through the book and formulate your answer for the reflection question. But I wanted to spend a little time specifically on this. So again, conflict resolution strategies. And as I was getting ready for this, I kind of went back to a fun memory from when my daughter was a baby. We've got 3 kids. My daughter's the oldest. And when she was a baby, I taught at a university in Arkansas, in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. Arkadelphia's not real big. And at that time, we needed to go shopping. We needed to go to a mall and get some stuff for the house. And really the only time we could do that was on a Saturday. And so Saturday afternoon is when my wife wanted to go up to Hot Springs from Arkadelphia and drive. It takes a half a day to do it. It takes 45 minutes to drive up there, and then you feel like you need to be there a while and then come on back. But it just so happened to be on the day of the Florida State football game, which, as I kind of mentioned before, in my world, that's important. My wife didn't see that as important. So here we are with conflict. She wants to go up to Hot Springs to go to the mall, and I'd really like to see this football game at home. So as we're kind of figuring out how we're going to do this, my mind kind of went to this model right here. So on this dimension is cooperativeness. And it shows, I think, better in the book on page 701. But this would be high cooperativeness, wherever this little red thing is. And on this side, it would be low. And then on this side is assertiveness. So this would be high and low. So this is the desire to force your thoughts. This one is the desire to cooperate with others. And so you can kind of go through almost kind of a contingency model. You can kind of make sense of which strategy would be most appropriate given the level of cooperativeness and concern for others versus the forcefulness that you want to exhibit or push to get your side to be the side that is the solution. So with this, you can kind of look at these 5 different types. And so let's describe them. With the accommodating style, this is where I'm not going to be assertive and I'm going to be very cooperative. I'm going to be very attentive to the needs and feelings of the other person. So I'm not going to force what I want to do, and I will accommodate. I'll go along. So in this case, I would go up to Hot Springs and I would just say, well, forget the game. I can check on it later. We can watch the highlights. It'll happen again next year, and it's really not a big deal. So I'm going to accommodate. On the other side, kind of this one is like, no, I really want to watch that game. And so I'm going to watch it. Maybe we can figure out a time to go some other time, but I'm going to stay here and watch the game, and I'm not going to go with you. That's the competing or forcing, as they say in some of these other the other ways that they've drawn up the typologies. So on this one, I'm not being cooperative, and I'm being very assertive on what it is that I want. The avoiding strategy is we're not going to come to a solution. Okay, I'm not going to go along with what you say, but you know what? I'm not going to turn the TV on either. We're just going to avoid it altogether. Let's go work in the yard or do something fun or stay around town or whatever. We'll go to a basketball game on campus or football game, whatever it may be. So the avoiding strategy is where I'm not going to be assertive. I'm not going to push my way, but I'm also not going to cooperate. We're just going to kind of avoid it. We're just going to put it aside. This compromise strategy, this is one where you're assertive. I'm still going to watch some of the game, but I'm also going to cooperate with you, and we're still going to go up there and do what you want to do. So the compromise might be, think about it. Let me watch the first half, or really the second half would be better, but we don't really know when the second half is going to be. So why don't we watch half the game? And then we'll go up there. And so I'll be partially satisfied. You won't have as much time to run around and do your stuff. But it's a compromise. You're partially satisfied and I'm partially satisfied. So these strategies right here are called distributive solutions. And I see my cat in the background. That's Jabba the cat, born on Star Wars Day. Distributive solutions. Think about a pie or a cake or a cookie or a pizza or something. If we have one pie and I want pie and you want pie, in this case I would get all the pie, in this case you would get all the pie, and in the compromise we would split that pie in some way. Every bite that goes in your mouth is one less bite that goes in my mouth, and vice versa. So these are known as distributive solutions. We're going to distribute out what we've got, and it's a zero-sum game. That, again, it all adds up to one, and every bite that goes in your mouth is one that does not go in mine. Every minute that I spend in hot springs is one less minute I have to watch the football game, and vice versa. Okay, so distributive solutions, and there will be times where, depending on how important the issue is and how important the people are in your time frame and all, you're going to have to make these decisions. Sometimes even avoiding usually doesn't lead to the best solution for the problem, but there are times where avoiding it and just putting it aside, something better will come about. It's happened in my life. And maybe you can reflect and think on times where it's happening. Not a strategy that you want to employ on a regular basis to solve problems and to succeed. But sometimes something may drop in your lap if you're just kind of sitting it aside. Okay, this one, the collaborating style, is known as an integrative solution. So as opposed to distributive, this is integrative. And integrate means we take my desires and we take the other person's desires and we put them together. We integrate. It's the realm of the win-win solution. These are win-lose solutions. I win at the expense of you losing and vice versa. This one is the win-win solution. And it turned out that this is what we did. We did go to Hot Springs and I did watch the football game. And what happened was we went into the old Sears that was up there and we parked there on purpose, little girl in the baby stroller, and we rolled in and I stopped in the electronics section with the little baby in the stroller and we watched the football game on about 8 TVs in the electronics area. And then my wife was able to go through the mall and take her time doing what she needed to do. And then by the time she got back, it seemed like the outcome was already taken care of and it really wasn't in question. And I could listen on the radio on the way back. So that's the collaborative solution. So, if you think about a pie or a cake or a cookie or whatever it is, make another cake, okay? Make another pie. It takes more time. It takes more resources. It takes more energy. It's more complicated, but through an integrative solution, by collaborating and working together, you can have the win-win solution. So I hope you find this interesting. That's just kind of a fun little example, but you can apply it to a lot of different things, probably that you've experienced in life and in work. Is it this win-loss kind of zero sum, or is it a win-win solution that y'all can come together and come up with a solution where both of you are totally satisfied? So I hope that helped. Just another little way to think about it, a little take on the concepts. That's it. Have a good one.